Police have a person of interest in custody after someone set a woman on fire on an F train, killing her.
Police say the killer walked up to the victim and lit her clothes on fire. By the time officers got to the woman, she was fully engulfed in flame.
This is one of several violent attacks in the subway system this weekend. One person was killed. Another was injured in a stabbing incident on a 7 train during an apparent robbery gone bad in Woodside, Queens. And yesterday, 2 people shot on a subway platform in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn.
The subway violence comes during a time authorities are trying to assure New Yorkers about the safety of mass transit ahead of congestion pricing next month and a probable fare hike this summer. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Sonia Rincon.
The NYPD tonight is calling cameras now in every subway car a game changer. MTA video taken in an F train at Stillwell Avenue captured the terrifying crime this morning.
It offered detectives immediately answers to questions that they had. What happened?
Officers had seen and smelled smoke and came running over.
What they saw was a person standing inside the train car, fully engulfed in flames.
They got the flames out with a fire extinguisher, but the woman died at the scene. The video also offered clear pictures of the man who had used a lighter to set fire to her clothes while she may have been sleeping and stayed and watched.
We asked the media to broadcast those images far and wide so we could use the viewing public as a force multiplier. And New Yorkers came through again.
A group of high school students spotted the man in the photo on another train and called 911.
Our transit sergeant responded to that location, met with these young high school students, looked inside the train and saw an individual that he recognized from wanted flyers that we got out earlier.
The suspect was taken into custody. Police say he's a citizen of Guatemala in New York since 2018. Tonight, the governor praised the quick arrest, but her tweets today about additional cameras, officers, and National Guard members helping bring subway crime down have been met with concerns about fare hikes and the congestion pricing toll meant to make the subway more appealing on an especially violent weekend. Overnight, a man was stabbed to death in what police think was a robbery attempt on a 7 train in Woodside. And yesterday, panicked subway riders ran from gunfire at a Q train station in Sheepshead Bay, where 2 people survived being shot, and the search continues for the shooter. The subway cameras in Coney Island this morning and the presence of officers in transit played critical roles in that quick apprehension, but still couldn't stop a man from killing a woman on the subway for no apparent reason. That woman still hasn't been identified tonight. She was burned beyond recognition. Outside police headquarters in Lower Manhattan, Sonia Rincon.
Other passengers are also seen holding him down. Neely was later pronounced dead at the hospital. The medical examiner ruled his death a homicide.
The individual who did this has to testify at some point to say I was in fear of my life or I just wanted to end this situation as best I could. Those things matter. Those statements from the witnesses are really going to play a big role in this.
Attorneys for Mr. Penny releasing a statement Friday night offering his condolences for Mr. Neely and writing, quote, when Mr. Neely began aggressively threatening Daniel Penny and other passengers, Daniel, with the help of others, acted to protect themselves until help arrived. He added Daniel never intended to harm Mr. Neely and could not have foreseen his untimely death.
Justice for Jordan!
Protesters are now calling for Penny's arrest. Neely had a troubled past, including more than 40 arrests and a history of mental illness, seen here on the subway just days before he died. The incident renewing the debate over mental illness and public safety.
This man had a mental issue, and the way you handle that is not to put him in a chokehold and squeeze the life out of him.
By outrage following a shocking incident where a Guatemalan migrant, Sebastian Zapata, allegedly set a sleeping woman ablaze on the F train in New York City. This horrific act took place on a Sunday morning, leaving the victim to perish before help could arrive. The incident has stirred significant public and political discourse, particularly due to the location. It occurred on the same subway line where the controversial Daniel Penny and Jordan Neely encounter transpired earlier in the year. Sebastian Zapata, identified as a 25-year-old from Guatemala, was swiftly apprehended by law enforcement at the scene. The attack, which happened near Coney Island, involved Zapata allegedly igniting the woman while she was asleep on the train. The brutality of the crime just days before Christmas has intensified the public's demand for justice and safety on public transit systems. This event echoes the tumult following the chokehold death of Jordan Neely by former Marine Daniel Penny on the same F-line, an incident that led to widespread protests and debates over vigilantism, mental health, and the treatment of the homeless in public spaces. The juxtaposition of these two high-profile incidents on the same subway route has only heightened the focus on security measures, mental health support, and the integration of migrants in New York City, igniting a broader conversation about safety, community, and the response of law enforcement to violent acts within the city's sprawling subway system.
Ghirardelli chocolates.
I'm a taxpayer. You work for me.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their...
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Holman, with
family.
all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum, you go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. Probably not the right thing to say, but I was angry. Let me tell you why you're angry, because you or no one else in this room has seen what I've seen in my 34 years. You didn't stand in the back of the tractor trailer trying my 19 dead aliens that suffocated to death because the smuggler didn't care, including a 5-year-old boy. What do you think his last 30 minutes were like? I was there. I seen it, I smelled it, I saw it, and I had a 5-year-old boy at the time, and it changed me for the rest of my life. I've seen people who couldn't pay their smuggling fees get stabbed in the face 22 times. 31% of the women are being raped crossing this border. Children are dying. Cartels are getting rich. Why am I angry? Because you haven't done anything to fix it. Nothing.